Hey everyone, welcome. Happy Wednesday to everyone. It is Wednesday, June 12th, and we're here for Systems Lab Live. And here is the question that I pondered. The official day of summer is next week. I think it's the 19th or the 20th. I think so. 19th, 20th, or 21st. And many of us have vacations planned, and many of us are ready to go. The work is still around, but we are ready to go. And so we're going to be talking about here tonight, how do we stay productive when the sun is out and we want to get our sunscreen and we want to sit by the ocean, sit by the waves? We're going to be talking about that here tonight. So in the comments, this is what I want for everyone to do. Who is going where for vacation? Any weekend getaways, any day trips, any fun trips that people have planned? Let me know in the comments. We're live on Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And so, yeah, I want to know, where are people traveling to this summer? What summer plans do people have? Thank you all for joining so much. What's happening? What's going on, Shakira? Great to see you. And yeah, I want to know, the summer is here and it's getting hot, but people are like, I kind of want to go and do my own thing and like lay on the beach and do all the things. So, but yeah, let me know what y'all are planning to do, because sometimes it's really hard to stay focused and to be productive when it comes to the summer. And so today we're going to be talking about, what does that actually mean for us as project leaders? We got projects, we got tasks, we got people that we are responsible for and what we're looking to do. And so, hey, we need to look at how we can maintain our projects and tasks and how we can be on time and whatnot. And also, too, make sure that we are balancing our life. Yeah, we want to make sure we're doing that. So as we settle in, yeah, let me know your name. Let me know where you're from and what are you doing for the summer. What's going on, Winifred? It's been a long time. It's good to see you. Would love to know what sort of projects that you're working on, because tonight that's what we're talking about. We're talking about how we can stay productive as the summer is launching. And so one of the things I do want to, I guess, I don't know if it's reiterate, but basically, like, one of our focal points is that when you enter into a new season, you will need a new system. What's happening at Pretty Dope PM? Great to see you. And so when we think about the summer, we think about a brand new season, and the stuff that you did before, listen, it's not going to be the same thing that you're going to be able to do in the summertime. Or is it? But tonight we're going to explore all of that. We're going to explore how we can be productive as we continue to go through and lead our work and everything. So, all right, I'm going to bring up my handy dandy favorite notes app, because another main theme that we are going to be talking about and speaking to today is, we're going to be speaking on today is the fact that we need to be flexible with our work, with what we have presented. Okay, I'm trying to look for, where's the window? Okay, here it is. Here it is. Almost got lost. Almost got lost. Okay, here we go. And okay, here we go. I'm trying to move it up. Trying to move it up. What's going on, C Moods 27? Great to see you. I'm going to take off my little banner so you guys can see the full screen ahead. All right, cool. Now, as we make our way through, definitely want to know what you guys are working on. You know, we just talked about where we are headed for this summer. But yeah, flexibility and adaptability are going to be the core themes of how you go about maneuvering the summer and your work. Let me go right here. And yeah, I'm going to do a little dotted line as such. And yeah, let me write our notes here. Systems Lab Live. And this is a 12. So we're going to do the 612 edition. All right. So I would say a core key point in all of this is that flexibility and adaptability matters. It matters, right? That's the key point of what we're going to be talking about tonight. And so the first thing I want to talk about is mastering your schedule. In a reel that I posted the other day, I did talk about how you need to be able to like conquer your schedule. So what does that exactly look like? Because I'm really, really big on making sure that you know what you're doing and when. Some people are like, hey, I'm not like an hour by hour type of person. And I think that's totally okay. I think what we want to make sure that we are focusing in on is knowing what you need to do and when. So when I talk about mastering your schedule, I'm mainly talking about understanding what exactly is on your calendar, what are time wasters, and where can you exactly block off pockets of time that you can do the deep work. If you guys aren't familiar with that terminology, the deep work means everything that you can do that's within your like your purview. What's going on, Movement Bites? Good to see you on the live stream. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm going to talk about mastering the schedule. I'm talking about, all right, like, when can I do the work that I need to focus on? And on the flip side, what is actually eating up my time? And one of the other points I put on the reel was getting rid of unnecessary meetings. Have you guys ever heard of no meeting Fridays? No meeting Fridays, I think that's what it's called. No meeting Fridays. You may need to adopt no meeting Mondays. Okay. I find that Mondays are the most jam-packed for myself. And when do you have time to really think or to breathe? So this is what I would do. This is a hack that I personally do, where I take the time out before everybody starts to kind of pile in on the said Microsoft Teams or whatever your preferred communication channel is. And here's what I do. I go and I look at my calendar for the week. Then I zero in and I go and say, all right, what needs to be deleted? I do a quick scan. Some of them can be recurring meetings that you really don't have no business to be a part of. You can get somebody to inform you of what's going on. So I'm a big proponent of like, what can we eliminate? So the first thing we want to make sure we highlight in mastering our schedule is we want to take time out. And that could honestly be, if you don't want to do it on Monday, maybe you do it over the weekend, maybe you do it on a Sunday, but definitely do it before people are zinging and pinging you. So set aside time. I would set aside anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes because it shouldn't take but so long, especially if you're doing this on a regular routine basis. Set aside 30 to 45 minutes. This is perfect, 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 perfect. Go in, scan your calendar. Also write down any questions that you may have about, certain meetings that are popping up that might be related to a particular task. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself when we talk about eliminating unnecessary meetings. This is without certainty, or rather with certainty that you know that you don't need to be here. What's going on? And Connect, great to see you. For you to be on the live. So you're taking a quick scan. You are looking at your calendar, 30 to 45 minutes max, and you are making those critical decisions. Where do I need to be? And then also too, you're also writing down questions, maybe even surrounding some of the meetings that you are going to be a part of, that you're a key participant in. Maybe you called the meeting, or maybe you are a key stakeholder in all of this. Yep, absolutely. What's going on, Kit Kat Nat 9? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a minute. Hope all is well. Hope all is well. So that's what you want to do. You want to really look at your schedule. You want to see, all right, here's where I need to be. And then also too, what am I going to be responsible for this week? And that's where we get into one of my faves, which is prioritization. And I'm not even talking about what you're doing first, second, and third. And even before that, let me back up to the schedule portion of it, because I think it is bigger than your calendar. I'm talking about, let's look at like the weeks ahead. Like, let's look at 3 and 4 weeks ahead. What do you want your schedule to look like? What do you want your schedule to look like? Okay. Oh yeah, you keep missing us. Okay. Well, yes, we are testing out, and well, I am testing out Wednesdays at 8. So that's probably why. And I didn't necessarily make a formal announcement. Sorry about that. But if you're on the email list, you've been seeing that I am doing Wednesday at 8, or if you're on Insta or LinkedIn. So quick pivot, because someone's asking like, keep missing. So sorry about that. So yeah, that's what's happening. Okay, prioritization is more than just, what am I doing first, second, third? What am I doing first, second, and third? What am I doing first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth? That's not what necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm really talking about, what should I be focusing in on the week? What's hot? Meaning what's red? Like, what needs to be done now? What is something that is going to take a little bit of time? And what's something that is easy street? Okay, so I'm going to write that down. What's going to be hot? Hot like fire. I think that Missy Elliott said one time, hot like fire. I believe so. And what needs to be done that is going to take a little bit of time? Needs more baking. Okay. Needs more baking. So shout out to all the baking shows that are on the Food Network and that's on Netflix. Okay. What needs more baking? I would say that's like yellow. I think that's it. And then, yeah, hot like fire, what needs to be done now. And then green. Green is just like easy money. What are some of the easy money things? So I hope that makes perfect sense to you all in terms of what we're thinking about when it comes to prioritization. Hot like fire. It's like, we got to get it done. And this needs to be the focus of the week. Needs more baking, meaning it needs to get done, but we need more information. We need more resources. We need more, like, I'm tapping my brain. We need more brain cells. Easy money. That's when you can go and literally, it's almost like a hot pocket. I don't know if anybody's had a hot pocket. I haven't had one in many years. I believe it's unhealthy. But for the purposes of this example, easy money, it got to be like a hot pocket. You're going to put it in for some minutes. It's going to come out. It's going to be hot to the pocket. That's what it is. So that's what we're talking about with prioritization. So when you are looking at mastering your schedule and looking at this week, the week after, the next 3 weeks, you want to know in terms of key tasks and priorities, what's hot? What needs my attention? All right. What needs more baking? Because perhaps we need to get more strategy around it. Perhaps we need some more time to really put into some of these key tasks. And what's easy? And you can have a mixture of that inside of your weeks ahead. So you can have something that's like, man, this week and next week, I got to go in on the hot like fire. But I know I need to block out time for my deep work for the things that need more baking. And so you will have to know that. How do we know that as PMs? We mainly know that because, as many of us should, 9 times out of 10, maybe 8 times out of 10, we should know what are the high priority items, because we're working directly with our, what do you call, our executives. For those in the corporate space, those that you all are in the entrepreneurial space where you're working directly with the CEO, or maybe you are working with someone that is the right-hand person, you'll know exactly which drum do you need to beat to. Like, what is the high priority items that you need to be focusing on? So that's what we're talking about. That's what we mean when we're talking about hot like fire, needs more baking, and easy money. It's easy money. So now, what tools would you need? What tools would you need to identify these things? Well, first and foremost, you're going to need not only your schedule that you have. So that could be, and let me get another color for this so that we can make sure we know. So this could be, your calendar. This is going to be your regular calendar that you're going to have. And then 2, you're going to also have your PM tool. Now, this will likely and hopefully be set up in such a way where you can be able to look at the portfolio view, and that could be in ClickUp, that could be in Asana, and that would be also in Coda as well, right? I think that that's really good. Oh, we have a couple comments. Let me take a pause on that. Documented and tracked action items that are centralized and are the forefront of the most important recurring meetings. Technically, only 2. I like that. They should have owners, due dates, and status updates that should be driving the schedule and prioritization, and those supporting backlog and everything else. So I think that's a great point that KitKat Nat 9 just brought up. Is the fact that as you are looking at what's important, because you're looking at calendar, you're looking at your own personal schedule, then you're looking at the PM tool inside of that. Yeah, there should definitely be where it's centralized, the owners, the due dates. This is where you start to ask the questions. That's why I think I said a few minutes back about like writing down any questions. So I'm just going to put like ask questions. I think you guys know what I'm talking about, meaning that you write down what you might have questions about. That'll be easy as you do your pre-planning, and you can send a message, who to hit up to say, hey, got a couple questions on these, or better yet, not that you can't use Slack, but you can always go into the comment feature. Comment feature is also in Asana, as well as you can do a comment feature if you set your tasks within Coda as well. So you can do that. You can go and just start to write some questions. And most likely you all are working asynchronously. So if this is at 8 p.m. at night, you're starting this process, then maybe the person that you work with is on mountain time or they're overseas. They may see it and they may be up. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. They can go in and get your questions answered that way. Welcome, Claudia. Good to see you as well. Yes, and then another good point is, and risks and issues are to be treated as their own meeting for addressing only, so the folks with them are intended to address them. So when we go into, the meetings that we need to be in, this is a great point, because when we get into the meetings that we actually need to be in, bringing up risks and issues, especially if you have daily stand-ups or 3 times a week. I do 3 times a week stand-ups, usually 30 minutes. They probably just need to be 15, but we get a little chatty. So you have the risks and the issues. And so that's really important to bring up, because you can then get ahead of issues more quickly. So if you have a daily stand-up, if you lean more on the agile side of things, that's perfect. And if you happen to have a check-in meeting, which I'm sure many of you do, maybe some of you have multiple check-ins, but depending on the types of projects, but whatever the case is, you'll want to have some sort of documented risk and issue tracker. Again, being able to look at things and be able to address them accordingly. Now, in part of your preparation, this is why it might lean on more the 45-minute side, is you may want to go ahead and read through some of the risks and the issues before the week kind of gets jumped off and started. So you already have in mind some things that you already want to address. So that's a really good comment. I like that a lot. Just being able to look at risks and issues, and how you can do that within the meetings that you have. So we've talked about mastering the schedule and prioritization. If anyone has any questions about that, now's the time. Get a little bit of time. We probably will be on maybe at least another 10 or 11 or so minutes, but we got time to kind of think through what we want to do, just in terms of our prioritization, preparing for the weeks ahead, as many people are leaving and going on vacation and doing all the things. So, all right. So we'll go to a couple of our last points that we want to do, is the importance of taking breaks and the importance of ending your day early. I know this is like a little bit of a shocker, a little bit of a shocker. So we're going to talk about taking breaks and ending the day early. So since we're talking about and really walking through this aspect of, all right, how do I stay motivated? How do I stay productive as I'm going to go out, enjoy myself? I'm going to go hang out with friends. I'm going to go to a Nats game, a baseball game. I don't know where are you all logging in from tonight, because I know it's not just, I just said Nats game, but I just went for my first one. But I know there's plenty. There's Philly. There's so many. San Francisco. Well, we'll just stop there because we don't know all the baseball teams. But what you'll want to do when it comes to the prioritization piece and mastering your schedule is you're going to want to block off time. You're going to want to block off time, and you're going to want to say, all right, I'm going to go for a 30-minute walk. I'm going to go for a 30-minute walk. This really helps you to center your schedule around, do you want some heavy brain work in the morning and then, woo, I get to make it to my walk, boom? Or do you want to not necessarily front load your day and you can just ease into it by saying, all right, you got a couple meetings, I'm going to take a walk, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to, take a nosedive into what I'm looking to do. Ending the day early. I don't know if you'll be able to do it every day, but you should plan as you're planning your weeks ahead. You should say, all right, let me just go ahead and, I'm going to block half the day. So, and then preparing people in advance. I love that. What do people say? Oh, I love this. Let me, oh, this always makes me chuckle. When people say PTO, it means preparing the others. I don't know. This makes me chuckle. Preparing the others. Someone just said bathroom breaks, take them. That's so important. I think oftentimes we are in so much of our work that we forget that we are human beings. And so we need to go and eat. We need to go and drink our water, or in my case, I love a good sparkling water. And we need to go and be sure to take breaks. Oh, I just realized, hold on. Let me scroll up. I just realized I was on taking breaks. Okay. Taking breaks and PTO, for those that are in corporate, preparing the others. It's all about making sure other people know what's about to happen and how they can handle it. But for those that may have, even if they're in corporate or if they're in another employment situation, maybe it's a little more flexible. You may not necessarily have quote unquote PTO, but you can be able to say, hey, by the way, peace out, Cub Scout. I'm going to be out these 2 days, or I'm going to take a half day here. So I think that's important. It's just communication. That's all we're really doing, is making sure that we're communicating with our team members. And then also too, something that you can do that's really, really cool within your PM tool. If you do it correctly, you can do it by setting up a list, or you would say list is in ClickUp. In Asana, it is called a project. I would say that you can create a database, boom, inside of Coda. And what you can do is you can create like a calendar. Yeah, that's what you do. So in Coda, you would create a calendar, and that could be the leave, that could be like the leave request calendar, or just, put on there that, hey, Emmanuel is out for 3 days. The same thing that would happen if you were in Asana as well. You could do it in a calendar view as well. And that's probably best to just do it in that calendar view, because it's just easier that way, right? You just won't have to feel as though, yeah, that you got to set up, special little custom fields and whatnot. But you may want to do it. And you can also too create a custom form. I know Asana has forms, Coda has forms. Monday.com. Let me tell you something about Monday. I worked with a client and they set up the leave request process in there. They had a form and they set up the form, you filled it out, and then it went to this list view. And then what you could do is that that particular manager could go in and approve it or deny it. It was just out of this world. All right, Kit Kat Nine says, take that PTO and don't work while on it. It's not preparing for others is no good. That's very true. You shouldn't. What's going on, Cassie? You should not be like working. Yeah. Yes, add people's PTO in the project plan and holidays. This isn't done enough. Oh, that's really good. So that, my going back to our original, like our one of our original points was on mastering your schedule. One of the things I want to underscore is that you want to do this at chunks of weeks at a time. Like you want to do it from now until the 1st of July or the second week of July. So as you are building out your schedule, as you're building out your schedule and you're working with clients, you may want to say, hey, the week of 4th of July, the office is closed. So therefore, the milestone deliverable that you were looking to have on the 2nd, it's no more. It has to be on the 9th. And that just shows, for you as a PM, it just shows that A, you care about your team, but 2, that you also know how to properly plan a project plan, as Kit Kat 9 says. So all things into consideration, you want to, especially taking breaks and ending the day early, you want to take into consideration, because you may not be able to do it all the time, but some of the time, take into consideration how you're going to front load or even backload your schedule. Front load meaning that all of your important meetings are at the front of this particular break that you want to have. Or it could be backloaded, and I think I may have just made that word up, but you could backload and basically have meetings that take a lot of energy in the afternoon, because you may need it, right? You may need it. So that's just something that for all of us to consider. Don't be afraid, as you are maneuvering and working your schedule out. Don't be afraid to switch it up. If things are not necessarily working in the way that you want them to work, maybe as the summer goes on, change it up. I think lastly, the last point maybe that I'd like to also to highlight, and I think this is instrumental to the entire process, which is the time blocking. We talked about this a little bit. We talked about what it means to have deep work. Oh, that's not the right one. Here we go. Okay. You're going to see something pop up in a little bit. But yes, time blocking. Don't sleep. Don't sleep, y'all, on the time blocking, because time blocking is necessary for you to know, all right, from 1 to 3, this is what I'm doing. Or from 1 to 2, this is what I'm doing. And so your schedule may not always be repeatable, but it must be intentional to make sure that you are preserving your energy and preserving your thinking power. If your schedule isn't repeatable and predictable, aside from ad hoc necessarily means you got issues. So I think this is a really important point to bring up, because this is about the balance of flexibility but also making sure that you are having the right structure in place to get your work done. So time blocking may look different for people. Some people like a whole big old chunk. Some people just really want to say, for this day, I'm going to make sure I work on these 2 items, and I know that I'm going to do it within this window. And so that's going to be how they go about doing that. It may change from day to day. I do believe that there should be some sort of idea, and this is where we go back to prioritization, as we talked about earlier. You will want to 1,000% know what's going to be hot like fire, needs more baking, and what's going to be easy money. So you do need to make sure that in some form or fashion that your week can be able to accommodate time blocking. And what you may need to do is think of a routine that is going to work for you. You want to Some people wake up and they're just like, "Hey, I know I need to get like 3 things done, so I'll just get them done when I get them done." But when for us as PMs, we have so many dependencies. We got people, we have stakeholders, we have meetings, we have people that we need to uh, work with. We'll need to have time to digest, when this meeting took place, what we're observing, the tasks that we're working on. So we often can't blindly just block off time without looking at, all right, am I needed in this particular place and space? If yes, all right, what might I need to do to make sure that my meeting or my calendar is considering other types of people and projects and things. So yeah, so if your schedule isn't repeatable and predictable, aside from ad hoc meetings, you will have issues. So think about being flexible. Think about being adaptable, because maybe one week you can be able to be more loose. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I think we need that. What's going on, Loopy H. Scott? Good to see you. Good to see you. So, what's going on, the Queen Coin? Great to see you. We're talking about the importance of making sure that in the summer that you have some sort of structure to your day, right? You may not be a time block person, the Queen Coin. I'd love for you to tell me that if you're a time blocker or not. But I think the way that Kit Kat Nine and are talking is that at some point you should be able, in the week, you should be able to have at least a couple of days. This is where I would come in with the flexibility. Have a couple of days where hey, this is where I'm going to do my work. This is when I'm going to complete this task. Having that level of structure and flexibility will have you to be more accountable. This is what I'll say for that. And I'll write that down. I think that's a good key takeaway, is that having the structure helps you with the accountability piece. And I would agree with that. There's a level of comfort by knowing, hey, this date and time, this is what I'm working on. One of the things that can mess me up from time to time is knowing what's required for a task. So if we look at number 5, and this is a good one, I want to make sure that we understand this. Task management is a little bit different from project management. I wonder if you all know the reason why, but we can talk about that in like a short minute. But task management is different from project management, because project management, we're focusing on creating the process and the vehicle that's going to get us to the destination. It's going to complete the project. Task management is really focused on like, all right, this is the work item. This is like the work item that I'm working on for this week. So if you are a web developer, maybe a landing page, that is your work item. That's like a big work item, because a web page is big. But even within that, maybe you're a graphic designer. Maybe you're like, man, I need to make like 10 assets this week. So knowing, what do I need? If I was a graphic designer, what would I need? What would I need? Right? Like, what information would I need? So it's not enough where you can just go in and create graphics. You need the brand colors. Oh, what's going on, Dion? You're going to need the brand identity guide. See, me and Dion, we go way back. So we used to work together. But you would do like a brand identity guide for a graphic designer would need to know that. Why? Because it's going to help them, inform them of what they need to do the work and to complete their task. They also will need their software and their tools. And that's kind of by default. If you're the subject matter expert, most likely you already have like what you need, right? You have the system, you have the software. That's kind of given. So that's what we talk about with task management is you have everything that you need. Do you need to ask questions? Is there a dependency on this particular task? Does something need to be completed before you start the task? Do you need to collaborate with somebody? Is there something that's blocking this task from getting done? And so sometimes if we're not asking the right questions and, you know, we don't have a good sense of, or the PM or whoever's leading the project doesn't have a good sense of the project plan. And this is why you have a PM tool, so that you know when things are due and you'll know how to get it done, because the process will be inside of the task. And that's just a pro tip for me. I'm really big on putting checklists and putting in subtasks inside of the actual task itself. Yeah. Oh, thank you. One of the best project strategists in the game. I thank you. I thank you. So, okay, lastly, Kit Kat Nat says it is rude times 3 to schedule meetings past 3 p.m. on a Friday. Who's going to act or think about the outcomes after it's done? It's the weekend. Yeah, I mean, I think that's so true. So even if you have a question about a task, or what you need to work on, yeah, try to not ask it on a Friday if possible. It all depends on everybody's work schedule, but that's why you have touch points. That's why you have meetings. That's why you focus in on, what are the risks, what are the issues, and what's blocking someone to getting the work done. So very good, very good. All right, everybody. We have talked tonight. What's happening, Krista? We have talked tonight. We have, talked about it all. We've talked about what it means to boost your productivity. The sun is out. You're getting your sunscreen on. You are doing all the things, getting ready. And but the work is still following you around. And so the question tonight was, all right, how do we remain productive? How do we remain productive when the summer is here and we want to be out and about? And sometimes when our seasons change, yeah, we need to change up how we work. What's going on, Bree? That's what we're gonna have to do. So, what's the system for that? So, we've talked about mastering your schedule. So, what does that mean exactly? Make sure that you are preparing, you're planning 30 minutes to 45 minutes before the hustle and bustle of the day is starting, so that all right, this is where I need to be, this is where I need to go, these are the projects I need to work on. Coupled with that is prioritization. So we're not talking about 1, 2, and 3. We're talking about what's hot like fire, as Missy Elliott would say. What needs more baking, like our trusted bakers on our favorite food channel show. And what's easy money? What's easy money, like a hot pocket? What are some easy tasks? And so you want to prioritize week to week what needs to be worked on. And you want to do this within 3 to 4 week intervals. Like, you want to know, like, what's in the pipeline. You'll need to get with other leaders, and you want to get with your team members. You want to make sure you know where people are, vacationing, and, and what their schedule is. Make sure you take breaks. Make sure you also look to end the day early. So, whatever PTO you need to take, however you're going to end the day early, make sure that you communicate that. It's important. And then lastly, we talk about time blocking. That's the importance of doing your deep work, your deep thinking. And why is that important to do time blocking? Because putting some structure around what you're doing helps you to stay accountable to the work at hand. And then task management, last but not least, for task management, you want to know what's inside of a task to complete it effectively. So it's not enough to say, hey, Drew, you're doing this graphic, right? See you on Friday. Nah, Drew needs to know, what's in the brand guide. He also needs to know if there's like a dependency on another task. Is there a blocker? Who might he need to work with? So that's a key part of task management. And so when you're inside of a PM tool, you need to make sure that you have all those key information and details. You'll want to communicate with that SME if you're working closely with them, answering all the questions and doing all the things. So that's where we're at, y'all. TN just joined, TN in the house. And so that's it, y'all. Thank you all for joining. Be sure to share this live stream with about 5 people. And I will see you all next week. We're going to have a good old time. we're not stopping because it's the summer. We got a lot of exciting different live stream topics, and we're going to keep this party going. And yeah, we're going to one project at a time, everybody. One project at a time. I just went two. One project at a time. We're going to keep chipping away, developing our processes and executing efficiently and making sure that we're leading out our teams. So thank you all so much, and we'll see you soon.